Am I doing okay? I guess you could say I'm keeping my head above the water. On the deck of this old saltwater lady, dancing across the waves. The seaside world slows down to an idle. The sun sets red over Copenhagen Bay. You moved on with your life in California. I'll move on with mine. Sometimes things take a little longer here on Gulf Coast time.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to the Lone Star Podcast. This is Jared Powell. Appreciate y'all listening in. If this is your first time listening in, kind of run through what we're about. So the idea is we want to get some cool people on, local Texas folks, talk about everything under the sun, everything we're interested in, right? So we're going to try and hit up sports, food, music. We'll go with, Texas life in general, entrepreneurship, kind of, everything under the sun. We're going to get into it here over the next few. And I really appreciate you guys listening in. We'll give out some information at the end of the show, how to get a hold of everybody and leave us some comments and let us know how we're doing and who you want to hear from and everything else. So, like I said, appreciate you guys listening in and enjoy the show. Today, we have Brock Dumoit with us.
Hello, hello.
There he is. Now, Brock is a friend of sorts, right? So Brock and I known each other for a while. We haven't hung out a ton. He's a real cool cat every time I've been around him. But he is a successful entrepreneur in his own right, and he makes surfboards for a living. Is that right?
Yep. So I guess I've been doing it since 2003.
Wow.
Just kind of doing it in my garage just for the love and the passion of just building and just surfing in general. And just started kind of building right whenever I got out of high school.
Wow, that's awesome. So how long have you been doing it professionally? As your career, this is my profession, I now build surfboards for a living. So
I guess, I would probably say 2010 is kind of whenever we kind of started really kind of building the business to where it was, starting to quote unquote make money.
Yeah.
But whenever we really kind of buckled down was probably 2013, whenever one of our strategic partners just kind of came on and really kind of took us to the next level.
That's awesome. So when you got into building surfboards, was it always, I'm going to build surfboards and make money off of it? Or how did you get started in making surfboards?
So there was a movie that came out a long time ago called The Endless Summer. And then there was The Endless Summer 2. And then, so from The Endless Summer 2, that was the one that kind of resonated with me just because it was the production value, I guess it was a little bit better. And there was a guy in there named Robert August, and he was just a surfboard builder. And I was just like, man, I just want to shape surfboards and surf every day. And, that was just kind of the dream. Right. So, I started making them in my garage. My parents had like I say there was a garage. It was like a little shop that my parents had in the backyard. And then they just said, you can have it, do what you want with it. I was making about, $7 an hour working at a glass company, just as, just doing grunt work for this company. And so they would let me ship all my stuff there because everything, would come in on like an 18-wheeler and it was too expensive to ship to my house. And
so what kind of material are we talking?
Like I'm talking about like surfboard blanks, mainly surfboard blanks because they come in these huge boxes. They have to come on like an 18-wheeler, and to get to like a residential neighborhood, it would probably screw everything up. Okay. So anyway, they were really cool. They would let me ship all my stuff there. And so then when I would take it back to my house, so I just started, building it just for fun and building it for friends and family. And then I just kind of snowballed from there. And then, I guess I took a little bit of time off. I was playing in a band, but then about 2008, 2009 is whenever I kind of really started doing it again. But then, that's kind of whenever we shifted over into wake surfing.
Wake surfing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll get into that a little bit because that's an awesome thing. So I heard a rumor about you or a story, and you're going to have to let me know if it's true. I heard you moved to Mexico to build surfboards for us.
Okay. Yeah. So that was a funny story. So I was surfing with a guy, or I met a guy down in Surfside Beach Texas. And he was, we just kind of knew each other just from the surf scene. And then I didn't hear from him for about 2 years.
I got to stop you real quick.
Okay.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Man, I was born in Texas.
Okay.
Moved to Arkansas for a year whenever I was 6. And then I moved to Kentucky for 10 years. So I guess I shouldn't probably be a surfboard builder being from Kentucky.
None of those. Even well, we'll get into the Texas thing, but you think Texas, I don't necessarily think surfboards. You or surfing, you may think differently, but
Texas has a bigger surf scene than you would think. I mean, a lot of people don't go in the water just because number one, it's gross down here.
Yeah.
Number two, whenever people are typically at the beach, it's during the summertime, and that's typically when there are no waves. That's when people say, "Oh, there's no waves in Galveston," it's because they don't go at the right time of the year. Typically whenever the winter time comes around, that's whenever the waves start to happen. Nobody's at the beach, so nobody sees the good waves, and
you just ruined that.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
All right. So back to Arkansas. To Arkansas.
So I moved to Arkansas for a year. I was probably 6 years old, 5 or 6, somewhere around in there. Then I moved to Kentucky.
Okay.
Was there for 10 years, and I moved back to Texas whenever I was 15. Okay. So I guess that was 10 years, 5 years. Carried the 2. Anyway, 15. So I moved to Angleton, Texas.
Okay.
Actually, no. I moved to Gonzales, Texas, lived there for a year with my grandmother until we could find a house. We bought a house, and then that's where I just kind of started whenever I was 15. So,
So when did you watch this movie that inspired all of this greatness?
Well, I guess let me rewind a little bit. Whenever we were living in Kentucky, my dad would take me every year to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because I guess that was like the closest way or closest place we could go to go surf. So from the time I was 7 years old all the way till I was 15, we would go to Myrtle Beach every year and surf. So during that time is whenever Endless Summer 2 was out, and I was watching that, and I came back. I was just like, man, I now 20 minutes from the beach. I can surf every day if I want. Yes, it's Texas, but I was scratching my itch.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So we moved back from Kentucky. We're down in Angleton, and you're surfing every day, scratching the itch. You're building surfboards in mom and dad's shop.
Yep.
And when do we go to Mexico?
Okay. So I met a guy that, from the surf scene, from going surfing all the time. And so we became friends for probably a year, and then he was gone for like, I don't know, 2 years or something. I didn't hear from him. And then finally I get like a phone call or a text message that just said, "Hey man, you still building boards?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm still building, just kind of for fun, friends and family." He said, "Well, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news." So I was like, "Okay, well, what's the bad news?" And he said, "Well, my dad died." I was like, "Man, I'm really sorry to hear that." And he said, "But the good news is I inherited like $1.5 million. Do you want to go move to Mexico and surf and build boards every day?" So, well, yeah, I mean, at this time I'm 21 years old. I'm in college. So I drop out of college to go try to pursue this dream to go build boards down in Mexico. So we build a bunch of boards here before we leave. And then we go to the border, we get across fine, and then we come to a couple other checkpoints. And we're in like a old Harry and the Hendersons station wagon. But the thing that we did though is we put a brand new engine in this thing, so that way we didn't want to be down there in like a BMW or something like that. You get it stolen. So.
You got 1.2 million to play with.
Yeah. So anyway, we make it down there, and we kind of get hemmed up on the way down there by the checkpoint people, the federales or whatever. So we finally make it down there. It's a 31-hour drive. So we drive into Sayulita, Mexico. I don't know if you know where that's at.
I do not. So on a map, where are we at?
So if you're looking at Mexico and you see Puerto Vallarta,
been there.
Take a left.
Okay.
Go all the way to the coast, and that's where Punta de Mita and Sayulita is.
I got you.
And it's just like a really cool little surf town. So we get there, we're selling boards, doing this whole deal. And then, so two of the guys, I don't want to go into too much detail, but two of the guys that I went down there with, started butting heads real bad. And anyway, long story short, the car got stolen, and we then had to hitchhike back to Texas. So, at this point, I'm 21 years old. He's got all the money.
Yeah.
I've got nothing.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, all right, so what do I do at this point? So we finally find a guy from Port Arthur, Texas. And he's like, "Hey, I'm heading back tomorrow. Do you guys want to, ride back with me?" I'm like, "Heck yes, I want to ride back with you. I don't want to stay here." So anyway, so he takes me all the way back to the border. And then, like I was saying, I used to play in a band. My old bandmates came down to the border, 7 or 8 hour drive down to Brownsville, came and picked me up, and they took me back home.
Wow.
So,
I got to stop you. What was the plan in Mexico?
The plan was to sell boards and make a living, basically going back and forth from the U.S., building boards and selling them.
Okay.
But, you know, I don't know. I was 21. Yeah, it sounded cool in theory. But
hey, it's a story.
It's a story.
And I shacked up and went to Mexico when I was 21, living on a dream.
Yeah, we were basically living on the beach, surfing almost every day.
Yeah.
Oh, we were surfing every day. But there was this one time that we did go into Puerto Vallarta, and we got down there. We had been, we had a little bit of alcoholic beverages, some salsa. And so we get down there, and the guy that I go down there with, he's had a little bit too much to drink. So he reaches out this cab window and to the next cab over, and he sticks his hand out and he smacks the cab driver. So I'm like, oh boy, dude, we're in Mexico. What are you doing? There's a freaking cop right behind us.
Oh boy.
So, of course, we get lit up, right?
Yeah.
So he pulls us over, and then there was also a girl in the car. We barely knew Spanish. I knew a little bit, but not enough to save my life. And so luckily the girl we were with knew Spanish. We give the cop, he's saying something. But luckily she knew enough Spanish to get us out of the deal. We give the dude like $500 and he lets us go.
Yeah.
I almost went to jail in Mexico. So I had really kind of two bad experiences. So I don't want to go back unless I'm on a cruise ship or I'm flying in and then flying out.
Yeah.
With a plan.
Yeah. So what year was 21-year-old Brock going to Mexico? What year was this?
I am 33 now. So subtract, what is that? 12? It's 2008, 10 years. 2006? Yeah.
2006. Mexico still wasn't safe.
Nope. I actually had to go back down there again to go get my brother out of jail. And that's a whole nother story.
Oh boy.
This was a couple years ago. That's neither here nor there.
Hey man, before we get any farther, let's pour up a little bit of this whiskey.
Yeah. I'll take me some of that.
All right, man. So let's get into the Texas surf scene that I am not privy of. I will tell you.
Thank you, sir.
I will tell you my my Texas surfing experience. I'm a big guy, right?
Right.
Surfing's not for big men.
I mean,
let's be honest.
Okay.
Well, my version of a successful surfboard is a 17-foot John boat with a 50 horsepower Evinrude on the back.
Oh, nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I'm feeling that.
So when I was senior year of high school, 17, 18, 19 years old, my brother got into surfing. He had the big rig, Dodge, threw the surfboard in the back. It was mostly, I think, just to try to get girls. He pulls up in the gas station, big truck, surfboard in the back.
Right.
Oh, you surf? Oh, all that kind of jazz. But him and a couple of his buddies would go out, and they actually did go surf for a while. And I think I paddled out on his board one time and had no idea what I was doing, and just
where was this at?
This was in Galveston.
Okay.
It was Flagship Hotel.
Okay.
Before Pleasure
it was
Pier.
The Pleasure Pier.
The Pleasure Pier, indeed.
How terrible is that name?
Thank you, Mr. Fertitta. And paddled right back in, and that's been my surfing experience. However, we did do a lot of wakeboarding.
Yeah.
And although wakeboarding is also not a big man sport, I was able to get up and wakeboard and do some things and have some fun that way. And if nothing else, you can always drive the boat and get drunk.
Right.
So that's always success. So first thing I want to ask is about the actual Texas surf scene. And then we'll get into the wake surfing that I'm not going to attribute you to inventing it, but you're the first person I ever heard of doing it. So I'm going to say you invented it.
Okay. It came along far before me.
Okay. Well, in my mind, you are sole proprietor and inventor. Yes.
Inventor. Sure, man. Sure. If you want to give me the credit, whatever, man. But anyway, the Texas surf scene is actually a lot bigger than you think. I mean, all the way down from Galveston, all the way down to Brownsville. There's Corpus Christi, Port Aransas. Excuse me.
I lived there for a year.
Yeah, that's actually some really good surfing down there. Bob Hall Pier, and then they had the TGSA, Texas Gulf Surfing Association, where they have contests throughout the year, and then Volcom, the surf brand. They used to do a contest down at Bob Hall Pier in Corpus. So anyway, I mean, there's a ton of surfers down here that people just don't know about because we're just kind of like a core group of people.
Yeah.
And some of the guys that later on that, I met, like Kerry Pitts, he goes by the name of KP. There's Stephen Pearson who does L-Ride. He's one of the best shapers here in Texas. And KP is one of the best glassers.
Surfboard shaper?
Surfboard shaper.
Okay. I'm not in the lingo, so you
sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, like, and talking about big guys, like Stephen Pearson, he's not a small dude. I mean, he's your size, and he gets out there and he kills it. I mean, he goes down to like Costa Rica and all these different places he's been, and he's a big dude, but he just gets out there and just kills it. Yeah. So anyway, those are some.
I'm being a little self-deprecating. Talk about it.
I mean, there's some big dudes out there.
Hey, I believe it. Hey, good on you, big man.
Yeah,
you go out there and represent. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it surprises me a lot of the time. So, but anyway, the Texas surf scene, you just kind of, you watch the forecast. And
so are there competitions in Texas?
Yeah. The TGSA, Texas Gulf Surfing Association, they have, several dates throughout the year. I think I've only done like one. And I think that was it. That was, I never really got into competition surfing. I was more on the, I started building boards like at first, just for friends and family. But then like, I guess the entrepreneur side of me always just said, okay, well, what do I know how to do? And how can I do this for the rest of my life? And that was surfboard shaping at the time. And I remember sitting in, shaping boards, and I was like, what are all these millionaires and billionaires doing out there that I'm not, and number one, they started a business. And so I was like, okay, well, I took what I knew and I tried to start my own business, and just kind of flowered from there. And then, all the right people just kind of started, I guess attracting to me, law of attraction. Yeah. I mean, I didn't build this business on my own by any means. I mean, Brian Gordon and Brandon Watson were the two people that really kind of helped me build this, but we can get into that here in just a little bit. Yeah, man. That's another thing I really admire about you. And from afar, I've always been like, man, there's a guy doing it. Yep. That's the guy that's doing it. You had a dream, you had, what you like, what you love, and now that's what you're doing. Yeah. And I think that's so awesome. That's one of the big reasons why I want to have you on here to talk about that stuff, man. It's inspirational, one, and two, it's a good story, and three, you're a good guy. I mean, I try. Well, you like good things happen to good people, and it also shows you're also a regular guy, right? So it shows everybody out there, do it, go do it, take the risk, do what you got to do and make it happen. It's an awesome story. You were working in the oil refineries before. Yeah. Is that correct? Yeah. So I hired on with BP back in 2010, and that's kind of really whenever everything kind of started taking off. I had a little bit more money to start spending, and I finally moved into my own house with my own garage at that time, because I was building it in I started building boards again like back in like 09 or 08 whenever me and my wife got together, and her uncle let me build like a little shop in his shop, like a small shop within a shop. Yeah. It's a dome within a dome. And dream within a dream. Yeah, dream within a dream. And so anyway, I built there for like a year, and then from there, like I was saying, I moved to my own house after I got, I was working for BP, and then they were bought out by Marathon. But then, so I worked there for I quit in 2013. Yeah, 2014, right after my daughter was born. And, cause I stayed on there so that way we could keep the insurance and the benefits and all that kind of stuff. But then I was just like, man, this is either make or break. I got to go. Yeah. So, I quit a really good job to do this full time. That was scary. Yeah. That's what I was going to say, man. That's gotta be scary. Yeah. That's what a lot of folks say that I've read and seen is that biggest leap to where, okay, now my bills being paid comes through me. Yeah. That moment where you make that switch is the scariest part. Oh, it's terrifying. And that's where a lot of people stop. It's where a lot of people stop. So a lot of people have the golden handcuffs, they have the insurance, they have the benefits, they have, they make really good money. And then whenever you just say, hey, I'm going to stop and do what I'm passionate about, and I hope I get paid. That stops a lot of people. Yeah. I mean, my circumstances weren't necessarily that bad. Like I was saying, I had some people come into my life that really did allow me to quit my job at the time that I quit. And, but I knew that I wasn't going to be destitute, and I knew that there was money behind me. But it's not nothing near what I was making, but I was able to, the cool part is I'm able to work basically from home now. And I'm able to, see my kids and do all that full time now that I'm just doing the sales and marketing aspect of it. Manufacturing, I'm not in it anymore. Because, whenever we opened up our facility here in Texas, I mean, we were moving guys in from California, moving them in from, actually we moved 2 guys in from California. I mean, we had guys coming in all over the place. I mean, I think we had 15 guys on staff at one time, just, building our boards. And I remember walking into one of our glassing rooms and, I think Tom Maxwell was in there, which is another big surfer, another, really well-known board builder in Texas. And then, I had Steven Pearson and, another guy we called Hank, and I had KP. So I've had like all the top guys working for us. And it's just like you walk in and I've got like 140 boards that are being glassed at one time. And you just walk in and you pinch yourself. And you're like, is this really happening? Like, there's no way. There's no way at all.
That's awesome.
But that was on wake surfing. But I guess I need to talk a little bit about kind of the how we got from surfing to wake surfing.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like I've cut out a little bit in that.
Yeah. I'm interested in that.
Yeah. So
I feel like wake surfing, like I said, when I think of that's why I want to talk about the Texas surfing scene first, because it is there. It is
definitely the lead up.
It's like you said, it is there. It's more prominent than people know. But as far as the wake surfing, I feel like that is a huge, maybe not untapped so much anymore, but when you started out, untapped market, because how many people are out there wakeboarding? How many people have boats? How many people don't have access to oceans and waves and all this good jazz? And I also want to talk to you about barge surfing.
Barge surfing.
Have you ever heard about this?
No.
Okay. So it's in Galveston Bay.
Oh, you're talking about like tanker surfing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, did I fuck it up?
Yeah. It's a tanker surfing.
Okay. So I seen it on a travel show, drinking show maybe, or something on the Travel Channel. Old boy's down in Galveston running around doing all this stuff, and he goes tanker surfing for and they said, oh, we can go miles at a time, all this surfing. I'm like, I've never even heard of this.
Yeah. So there's a guy named James Fulbright that was actually kind of like the guy that was kind of putting all that on. He owns I think it's Surf Specialties down on like R and something. I don't
Galveston?
know. Yeah, in Galveston.
Okay.
So he was doing all these like, tanker surfing tours and stuff like that, and people could sign up. He'd take them out there. He knew where, when the ships were coming in and all that stuff.
Yeah. So basically the point I'm trying to hit at is where a lot of these folks don't have the waves, don't have the beach, don't have this and that. They have lakes and canals and bayous and whatever that they can possibly go surfing at, which is where wake surfing comes in.
Right. So without wake surfing, I wouldn't be able to do this full time at all.
Yeah.
Like not at all. Because you got to think about, the demographic of which I was dealing with. Number one, it was just coastal, right? I could only sell to people on the coast. Whereas, wake surfing came in and now I can sell to anybody and everybody.
Yeah. So I was peeking on your website today and I looked at find a local dealer. Dude, you're all over the United States.
Yeah.
Props on you, brother. I went on there and looked and I'm like Minnesota, Utah, Colorado, Arkansas, up in the Midwest, they're all over the place.
Yeah, Midwest is really good. I mean, we're in South Korea, Russia. We're opening one up in New Zealand. We're getting into Australia, Switzerland. We're already in Paris. We're in Dusseldorf. I mean, we're all over the place now. I mean, we're just growing and growing.
That is freaking awesome.
Yeah. So I think we're at like 88 locations right now.
Wow. That's awesome, dude. So how'd you get into it?
Okay. So, via social media and stuff like that, people were just kind of, I was getting, small amount of traffic to my Facebook page that were watching me shape and, not watching me, but just kind of following me as I was building boards. I'd post stuff up. And then, so a guy hit me up. He was like, dude, you need to make these wake surfboards. And I thought he was completely joking. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm an ocean surfboard builder. It was kind of like, I was too good for that. You know what I mean? It was like, okay. So I was, because I just thought it was a joke,
Yeah.
And so I didn't think anything of it. So for about 6 months, this guy was like, dude, make me one of these, make me one of these, make me one of these. So because it was all the same material.
Who was making them at the time?
So there was a couple companies out there. I think there was Shred Sticks, Walker Project, Soulcraft, and just a couple other small companies.
So why was he after you to make him one?
Because I was local.
Okay.
So yeah, he was local.
Okay.
So he was a wake surfer. He had a wake surf boat, or it was mainly they were basically wakeboard boats that they were just like tilting on their sides or listing the boat to make a wave. And so that's kind of how, that kind of started to morph into more of like wake surf boats. But anyway, so he hit me up and he just showed up at my house one day. I remember seeing these flip-flops cut like underneath my garage door. I was like, who in the world is this guy? And then he was like, hey man, I hope you don't, kind of mind me barging in here. Not barging, but like, dude, like make me this board.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So I kind of just taken back like by this guy, coming to my house. And then, so I was like, all right. So I looked at it and it was all the same material that I was using, to an extent. Like the cores and stuff of the boards were a little bit different. One was polyurethane. The one he had was, or polyester, polyurethane. Anyway, the one he had was epoxy, EPS foam. So I built my first one based off of the one he brought me, and it was a complete just turd. I mean, just sucked. I still have it. And if
you're like, hey man, give me that back. Give me that back. I'll get you something better.
Dude, I mean, the fin angle was all wrong. The foam was all wrong. The rails were wrong. I mean, it was just complete turd, but like, I didn't want to surf anything else out there because I wanted to surf what I rode, what I made,
yeah.
Even though it just sucked, and I still have it. Like I'll if on this video that I'll do, I mean, I'll show a picture of it. It's just terrible compared to what we have today.
Okay.
But anyway, so I made that one. We went out on his boat, and then I just kind of continued to start making boards. And then I was just like, okay, well, and so I was making these things for like $350. Okay. Cause like, it's like half the size of a surfboard. So I was like, okay, so it's probably half the cost. And then later on, I didn't realize that these things were selling for like $700, $800, $1,000.
Wow.
I guess because it was just, supply and demand, or just, there wasn't
the rarity of them, right?
Yeah. They were just, I guess, somewhat rare at the time. So, I guess economically, okay, I've got less material, but I can make more money on this. But then, but can we produce them at the rate that we need to produce them at that time? Yeah, it was easy. It was just doing them in my garage. And so one weekend, Brian and I were working. Brian was my partner that really helped me grow this business. And, we were working, and I think we did like $7,000 in a weekend in just orders. And I was like, that's more than I made all month. Like, there might be something to this.
Yeah.
So anyway, Brian and I just, we were building boards out of our garage, selling them. And then finally a friend of a friend called me, and, he liked to wake surf, and, he was looking to invest into a company. And so he just, thank God, invested into my company, and just basically, I mean, he was a godsend to us.
Wow.
He just basically said, what do you need to go to the next level? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, what do you need? And I said, well, I need a facility. I need machinery. I need people. I need this. He said, done. And that was all she wrote. And then we opened up our facility, and then now we went from like $6,000 or $7,000 in our first year, and now we're going to clear $1 million.
Wow.
Now, so I mean, it's just, I still pinch I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about
yeah,
like,
dude,
just the growth.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's an awesome success story. It really is. It really is. So I just lost my train of thought. I was going to ask you something. The wake surfing, how to get started? When did it come about?
There was a movie, or I saw a video clip like back. I mean, this was like back in the black and white days of the John boat that you were talking about, or like an old like a Glastron or something like that. And the dude's like on like a 9-foot longboard, and he's surfing behind this boat. So technically, I think it was like back in the 50s or something like that. But then, there was companies that came out like Inland Surfer back in the day that was doing it for a long time, and they're still producing boards to this day. Definitely one of our competitors. Great board company. They make some good products. They've been around for probably 12 to 15 years. I think they were the ones that said they really kind of started the quote unquote, like kind of like the revolution of wake surfing. And then, now there's like world competitions, and like we've like our surfer Perry Morrison, he's number 3 in the outlaw, or no, men's amateur surf. He's only like 12 or 13 years old, but he's number 3 in the world.
Wow.
So I mean, you just have these big events. We do big demo days with our dealers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen y'all's videos, man, and like I said, I follow y'all on Snapchat and on Instagram, and I know you have a YouTube channel and all those videos. So that's another thing I wanted to get into with you is your production.
Yeah.
So you say you're just involved in sales and marketing now.
Yep.
And I want to say to you that your production value on your videos and everything you put out is freaking badass.
Man, we use a guy by the name of Joey Arches that does like a lot of our video shoots. Yeah, we do like little bitty stuff, but like for like our bigger productions, I mean, Joey's probably got $250,000 and camera equipment that. And I was actually on the phone I was calling him right on my way over here because we need to do another video shoot next month. But he uses like a really high tech red camera. I mean, those things are like anywhere from 50 to 100 grand just for the camera body. Yeah. So, I mean, we make sure that, we really do get the best, equipment to go out and shoot a good, quality, video, because in this business, I mean, it's who can outmarket who.
Yeah. Well, it shows. It definitely shows. Like I said, I've watched your YouTube videos. What was it? The Puerto Rico project.
Oh yeah.
That was years ago, right?
That was before we were even like a wake surf company.
That's what I'm saying, man. I was watching that stuff years ago and I was like, man, this is freaking badass. But it was more of like I said, the production value of it, like the high quality cameras and just everything going into it. And it was pretty badass, like I said. So I remember this would have been around that time, 2011, 2012. Our mutual friend, Cody G.
Oh, yeah.
Called me up and said something along the lines of, hey, we're doing a video. Do you want to be the director? Mm-hmm. Or do you want to come direct it or something like that? I'm like, what are you talking? I was like, I don't know about directing. What are you talking about, man? He goes, yeah, man. But he goes, you're smart and you're creative and you've seen a lot of movies. And I kind of, so to this day, I kind of regret that. I'm like, man, I should have went over there and just seen what's up, but at the time, like I said, this was 6-7 years ago, right? I mean, the creative mind, the open thinking, all that stuff wasn't going for me. I had other shit happen. I ain't got time for that. You know what I mean? Right. And now looking back on that, I regret it. Mm-hmm. I wish I went over there and just been a part of it, so, just to see where it went. Who knows? Maybe I could have been your production guy at this point now, but it's just one of those things. I look back and that's one thing I regret is that I could have went over there and maybe had a hand in all this. But it is what it is. But yeah, your production on all your videos, your sales and your marketing and stuff, that's another thing. Like I said, I want to give you, it sounds like I'm just kissing your ass the entire time, but it's impressive, man. It's like I said, it's super professional. It all looks great. It looks like you really spend the money and the time and the effort to get all that stuff right. Yeah. And it really shows through. So good on you, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that.
Yeah. So what is the end goal for Doomswell? Where does it all not necessarily stop, but when do you say
enough is enough?
No, not even that. Let's just give it a 10-year goal. What's the 10-year goal? I
mean, 10 years from now, I hope to just, I want to do 10 million. I guess as far as like the business owner side, we want to just continue to really make some really good, surfboards, and like our slogan in the company is surf different, and that can be, kind of relative to the person, do you want to surf differently? You want to surf differently than other people? So just kind of like surf different, you know what I mean? Like if you get on our boards, we want you to surf different, it's really just kind of your interpretation of what surf different means. Yeah. And really how I came up with that was, so I love Apple, like Apple computers, Apple iPhones, Apple, everything in my house is Apple. Yeah. And there was I think there was a commercial that Apple did back in 1984 and Steve Jobs did it. It was like,
I think I remember that one.
Think Different. And so, and this is right after I read his book, and I was really doing my research on Apple just because I really liked the company and the way that it was growing, and I liked the philosophies and the way they thought, stuff like that. So I was like, okay, so that's where Surf Different came from. It's like, I don't know. I guess I'm stealing a little bit from Apple, but
well, it's not a bad place to steal from.
No, I mean, and Steve Jobs was, even though, yes, he was somewhat of a, kind of a, lack of a better word, kind of a dickhead, to a lot of people, man, look what he did. Yeah. He changed the world.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, like you and I are sitting across from each other on two Apple computers with Apple, or I have an Apple iPhone. I think you have an Android. I
have Samsung. Sorry. Sorry, Steve Jobs.
You'll be all right. You'll come around.
This MacBook has definitely made me want to go to an iPhone for sure.
But anyway, so that, I like Apple and Steve Jobs. So that's where Surf Different came from.
So where have you been in the world surfing?
Oh man, I've been Puerto Rico, of course, Mexico, a couple of places in Mexico, California. Did I already say Puerto Rico?
Yes.
Okay, yes, Puerto Rico, Mexico, California, Texas. I've surfed down in Cocoa Beach, basically everywhere on the East Coast. South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. Because I think 2 years ago, we went to, we do Surf Expo every year down in Orlando. So we wanted to go down to Cocoa Beach and go surf down there because that's where Kelly Slater's from. I'm sure you know who Kelly Slater is. Crickets. Am I hearing crickets?
I'm going to sip my whiskey.
Oh my God. Anyway, Kelly Slater.
What did I tell you my extent to surfing? I paddled out Pleasure Pier before we do Pleasure Pier, and I came fuck back. I said, fuck this shit. I never talked about it again until I'm talking to you.
Oh man. Okay. Oh man, it's going to take me a second to recover from that one. So anyway, Kelly Slater is like the most, he's the GOAT of
Michael Jordan
surfing.
Michael Jordan of surfing. Okay.
Yeah. Michael Jordan of surfing.
I apologize.
Hands down. He's actually coming out with a really cool like wave pool that I really want to go see. But anyway, surf down there. Wake surfing. I mean, I guess the furthest place I've ever wake surfed was in Hong Kong. Did some product testing and stuff out there in an old like 1996 Taiga. Like it was not meant to be surfing, but this guy made it happen. His name was like Henry or something, and
his name wasn't Henry.
It wasn't Henry. That was his American name.
Yeah.
He chose.
Yeah, but, call me Bob.
Yeah, call me Bob. Right. Yeah,
that's funny.
Hi, Bob.
Yeah. So, have you ever done the big waves? What are the big waves? I want to know about the big waves.
You talking about like big wave surfing?
Like Maverick?
No way,
what are the
dude.
Mavericks? So what is that business?
I got kids, man. I ain't doing that.
That's craziness.
Dude, those guys are like 50, 60 foot. And then you got the guys out there in like Portugal doing the 100 footers. No way. Like whenever I was surfing down in Trestles, or actually it was somewhat Trestles. I was surfing Cottons, which is off to the right. And so ocean surfing, I'm a big old baby. I don't want anything like 6 to 8 foot. I'll surf it, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared. I mean, and then like, especially in California, like I'm from Texas, I'm not used to the great whites and stuff. So I go out there, the waves are bigger, they're faster, they're more powerful. And then you got great whites underneath you, trying to, chomp at your toes, if you fall, what I mean? I mean, not all the time. You know what I mean? That's just what goes through my head.
Well, so, I'm scared for you.
Anything over like 6 foot, I don't want it. That's why I love wake surfing. Number one, you don't have to paddle to get out. You just get pulled up by a rope. Once you're in place, you throw the rope in and then you just surf for 10 miles if you want, or as long as your legs will last.
That's a pretty good little compromise there. That sounds like a big man surf right there. Yeah.
I mean, we got big dudes like 340. I think we made a custom board for a guy that was 340 pounds. And I mean, he's a big dude. Yeah. But we got him up in surfing. And then we made a.
All right. Hey, watch out, Kelly Slater.
Yeah, watch out,
coming
Kelly.
For you.
Watch out, man. And then we had what's his name? Chris Humphreys that was playing for. Minnesota. What's the basketball team up there? Don't be mad at me. The Timberwolves. Yeah. And we made him a custom board, and so he seems to like our stuff, man.
Chris Humphreys from the Timberwolves.
Yeah,
I like it. Shout out to Chris. How you doing, bud?
And actually, I have a story about him as well.
Oh,
I was in Minnesota, and my buddy Chad, he's one of the brand ambassadors for Doomswell. So anytime we go up to Minnesota, we always go hang out with Chad. He's like the guy for wake surfing out in Minnesota. So great partner for us. So I'm at his house. We're down there for a surf competition. And he's like, hey, man, you want to go to the bar? My buddy's going to meet us over there. And it's Chris Humphreys. I was like, okay, like,
I'm just
gonna chill. So we get there, and then like, there's like a whole like entourage. So I meet like his agent and all these other people. We're sitting around the table, and like I finally make it over to Chris. He's like, oh, hey man, like you're the guy that built my board. Cool. So we start talking, blah blah blah, and then so everybody from the table gets up. We're all walking over to the bar. We're just kind of hanging out, chilling, and so finally, like I noticed kind of what's happening, like. I'm finding space between him and I and my friend because these girls just keep like filing themselves like in between me and him and everybody else. I'm like, and finally I'm like 10 people back and I'm like,
what happened here?
Yeah. Like, okay. I mean, I get it. I mean, the dude's like 6'10" or 6'9", and there's another dude that's like 6'10" right next to him. I'm like, okay, I get it. Whatever. So then we're like, the night's winding down, girls are just all over him. And he's just kind of like, just like this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Not a lot of 6'10" black guys in Minnesota, I'm guessing.
Right. Yeah. So we're like, all right. So the night's kind of, you know what? It starts raining. That's what happens. So everybody's like, okay, well, because we're at like an outdoor thing. So we're like, all right, we're just going to get an Uber and go back. He's like, no, man, don't worry about it. I'll pull up my Escalade and I'm going to take you back home. So I was just like, as I'm standing there, I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, if my wife called me right now, hey, what are you doing? I'm just waiting on Chris Humphreys to come pick me up in his Escalade.
No big deal.
Yeah, no biggie.
No big deal.
So anyway, we get in his Escalade and he drops us off at the house. He's all right. See you guys later. So that's my Chris Humphreys story.
Cool as hell, man. I like it.
He was super cool, man. And he wake surfs.
Hell yeah. That's awesome, man. So who else? You got anybody else that's big and powerful and famous and cool?
I mean,
besides all your
Donald Trump came to the house. No, I'm just playing. Who else?
Easy now. You'll scare off half the listeners.
I know. Man, I think that's about all the name drops that I can do. I know I'll probably forget somebody.
No, I'll be all right. They'll forgive you.
My mom came to the shop once. This is what you do? Yes, Mom.
Wake surfing. Yeah. So, dude, that's awesome. What about your band?
Oh, dude, my band.
What kind of music did y'all play?
Man, we played like, it was kind of like alternative rock. So this was back, I started it in 2003 with this band. It was called Under the Green. And luckily, for this, if I didn't play in this band, I wouldn't know my wife. So if one thing I got out of this, and no, she wasn't a groupie. She had a boyfriend at the time. Little disclaimer. So, anyway, I played with them for like 7 years. I mean, we played with, some, really big people, throughout the years. I mean, like we played side stage for like Rat and Twisted Sister and, no, it wasn't Dawkin. It was, anyway, we played this like huge festival and we kept playing in like these, side stage, kind of venues. And then, one time, we got invited to do a small tour with a band called Evans Blue out of California, or not California, but, Canada, wrong C.
What was the name of the band again?
Evans Blue.
No, your band.
Oh, Under the Green.
Under the Green.
Oh God, if you know what?
Bringing it up.
We still have a MySpace. Yeah.
Well, I still have a MySpace too, don't I?
Yeah, I think we all still have a MySpace. So if anybody's listening, go back and check and see if you still have your MySpace that you forgot about.
Yeah, the problem is you don't remember your fucking password. Still
and then you're locked out.
True story. Fantasy football league I'm in is a bunch of buddies of mine, high school, college, and this and that. And one of the guys went and got back into his MySpace account and pulled up everybody's old pictures of the stupidest
high school
douchebag shit you've ever seen. And then when it proceeded to like post them all at random drops, we had a little group text or whatever kind of going. And every somebody would say something stupid like, oh yeah, I bet you wouldn't say that when you look like this. And put it down.
I'm going to go do that.
Random drops of just,
dude, I'm going to go right now and do that.
It was terrible.
MySpace.com.
It was absolutely terrible.
Let's see what pulls up here.
So I'm looking up for an Under the Green band.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, if you do myspace.com /under the green. Oh God, let's go see how stupid.
What instrument did you play?
I was a drummer.
A drummer?
Yeah. And I've actually got something really cool to talk about this with wake surfing and drums here in a little bit.
Okay.
Remind me, just for food for thought.
We may want to talk about it right now.
Yeah. I guess nothing's coming up. Oh, here's some music right here. It's terrible, but Actually, this isn't even our music. Anyway, so I was a drummer. MySpace is dumb, and I'll probably forever go away or just be here to haunt us. But anyway, I played with them for 7 years. We toured around, met some really cool people, went a lot of places, but it just wasn't going to pay the bills. But anyway, so I met my wife up in Dallas. We were opening for Evans Blue, and I was from Angleton, or our band was from Angleton, and she was from Santa Fe, but she was going to school up at Texas Women's in Denton, which is near Dallas.
Near Dallas, yep.
Yeah. So she was like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. We're from down the road. Yada, yada, yada. So after the show, we were playing at Palladium Ballroom. And I remember I was tearing down my drum set and like, I see these like two figures coming at me. I was like, who is this? And it ended up being my future wife and her friend. And then they got me to sign some drumsticks. And then I said, well, hey, do you guys want to come back to the hotel with us? And, just kind of hang out. Of course, she was like, oh, we got our boyfriends in the car. And like at that time, I'm like, okay, bring them, whatever. Yeah. The more the merrier. So they came, they hung out till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then they left. And then a couple of years later, I was working in oil and gas, and I was doing mineral rights research before I was working at BP, and I ended up getting a position in Decatur, which wasn't far from Denton. And then so I was like, hey,
I'm in town.
Yeah, and she just broke up with her boyfriend. This is 2 years later. So anyway, Hurricane Ike hit, and so now I can't go home, quote unquote. And then my whole band evacuated to her apartment, and so we stayed there for a week. After they all went home, I just never left, and now we have 3 kids. So.
That's good.
Yeah.
Another good story, man.
Yeah. Another good story. There you go. So thank you, Hurricane Ike. Yeah. Screw you, Hurricane Harvey, because Hurricane Harvey sucked.
Yes. So we got into that a little bit on the last podcast, but yeah, man, terrible thing. We're still feeling the effects, right? It's back to normal, but it's not.
I know, man. Walgreens has the nerve to not open back up, and now I got to go further down the road to go get like baby powder and stuff. That's jacked up.
Sons of bitches. How old are your kids?
I have a 2000. No, hang on. I say it this way. I have a 2012 model, a 14, and a 16. No. Yeah, a 16 model. Because Jonah just turned a little over 1.
She must have really liked your music.
She loved my music. She loved my music.
That's good, man. That's awesome.
Oh.
That's awesome.
That poor girl. That poor girl.
Yeah. So what else? Where are the best places to go in Texas to do said wake surfing?
Best place is kind of relative because number one is water. Okay. Where's some really clean, good looking water. And number 2, if you have a house on the lake, that's usually a bonus, which would make it better than most.
Better, yeah.
Yeah. Because if you got to, drive an hour to a lake or whatever, that's cool and everything. Yeah, you'll have a good time, but then you got to get the boat out of the water and then you got an hour drive home. But if you live on the lake, I
guess I asked if you could go, if you lived in, I don't know, Louisiana.
Oh.
And you wanted to come to Texas to go, and you said, I'm going to go spend a week in Texas and I'm going to wake surf.
And you just want to wake surf?
That's it.
Man,
where are you going to go?
Lake Travis in Austin.
Okay.
That is money down there. We did a big event down there with Red Bull, with all the Red Bull athletes. And that was my first time there as well. And man, I would go back to Lake Travis any day of the week. It's just beautiful out there. Just huge homes, really pretty water. I would say probably second place would be Canyon Lake down at near New Braunfels.
Yep.
I was out there a couple weeks ago, and man, the water is just it's like this emerald blue green, and it's so clear. It's a little cold. I think it was like 50 degrees whenever I was there.
I think the Colorado River feeds both, right?
Guadalupe
feeds Canyon Lake? That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
And the Colorado feeds Lake Travis.
Yep. That's it. Yep. I think.
Yep.
We could both be wrong right now and not even know.
I think you're right. You're 100% correct.
Yeah, but because
the Guadalupe actually goes below Canyon Lake and then comes back up. Mm-hmm. And then we all go float the tubes on the other side. Yeah. And any self-respecting Texan knows how cold it is on the other side.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Guadalupe's freaking freezing.
So Cody and mine's podcast the last time was a bucket list of things you have to do to be considered a Texan.
Right.
Number 1 on the list is float the river.
Oh, yeah. Naturally.
Yes.
Would
you be amazed that how many people either A, have never floated the river, or B, don't know about the river to float, which is astonishing me.
That's
It's blasphemy, I know.
That's my exact thought in my head. But I was like, should I say that? Yeah, that's terrible.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
Well, would you pick the Guadalupe or would you pick the Frio?
Okay, so you're going to yell at me after I'm talking all this shit. I've never been to the Frio. I know. Silence is the response. We're going to change it soon.
Dude.
But I've been to the Guadalupe 30, 40 times.
I know. Everybody has. But, dude, you got to make the trek a little bit further past and you got to go to the Frio, man.
God damn it. Get your shit together.
Well, you know what? But okay, so it's kind of bass backwards, though, because if you've been to the Frio and you've been to the Guadalupe is freezing cold, and the Frio is not really that cold.
Well,
that's like Iceland, Greenland.
Frio means cold in Spanish for all you gringos.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
I'm half Mexican, so I know that.
You're half Mexican?
Yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it? But I don't speak any Spanish. I just know the Frio means cold because I don't know.
Because it's common knowledge.
Exactly. Uno means one for you sons of bitches. Yeah.
What else would you want to do in Texas? My wife and I were talking about this, bucket list stuff.
So we kind of got into a little bit. We said Lukenbach is on the list. You got to go watch a show in Lukenbach. So Lukenbach is going to get you about 15 miles east of Fredericksburg. You know where Fredericksburg is at?
Yep.
So 10, 15 miles east of Fredericksburg.
Okay.
And which is, west of New Braunfels, what we're talking about, northwest of San Antonio. So Lukenbach, you got to go there. You got to watch a show. That's just how it is. Green.
When
Texas,
you say a show,
I mean Texas country music.
Okay.
I mean, so see that guitar right there?
Yeah.
That is a signed Reckless Kelly guitar that I bought in Lukenbach, Texas.
Oh, man.
The wife and I went to Fredericksburg for Oktoberfest, which may also be on the bucket list of Texas things to do.
Yeah.
And while we were there, we just by happenstance stayed like a mile away from Lukenbach, and Reckless Kelly was playing the Saturday night in Lukenbach. Went and had a great time. Awesome. So we also talked about a Dallas Cowboys game. Cody kind of trumped me.
Are you a Cowboys fan?
No, I'm not, which is what hurt me on the inside to say that.
Why does that hurt?
Because I don't like the Cowboys.
I don't like the Cowboys either. Why does that hurt?
Because I don't like the Cowboys.
Oh.
And my wife is a big fan. So
she's a Cowboys fan?
Yes. So she's from near Amarillo. And she's not.
Are you okay?
We make it. It's kind of hard, but we make it.
You got a nice house. Of course you make it. Yeah, man.
But yeah, so I said Cowboys game just because Texas and football, and it's the Dallas Cowboys. They're a big deal, right? So you got to give them their credit.
They're supposed to be America's team, right? Exactly.
So Cody said, "Fuck that. Let's just go watch a 6A high school football game."
What?
I said, you may be onto something there. If you go watch fucking Katie and some 6A team in Dallas play, maybe. Well, have you ever been to a Cowboys game?
No.
It's not that exciting.
No.
But here's the thing. It's so big. The stadium is so extravagant. You have the huge screen up there. It never really gets rocking.
Well, like I've been to a Texans game.
And it gets rocking.
And it was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cowboys not the same.
Really?
No.
But there's like so many diehard fans that you would think it would be like Mad Max, just like all the time.
Oh, they'll fight the shit out of you. That's for sure. If you go in wearing a Eagles jersey, you better be a bad man.
You better not do that. No.
But as far as like the experience of going in there and you just chill bumps and you just hair stand up on the back of your neck, ain't happening.
I think the only time that I'll probably ever go to the Cowboy Stadium is to watch Supercross, which was just over the weekend.
It's not bad. At Cowboy Stadium?
I think so. I think that's where they have it. Pretty sure.
I know it was.
It's in Arlington.
Yes. Well,
it's a Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah.
I live and breathe motocross and Supercross too. Like,
well, of course
I love
you do.
That kind
you build
of stuff.
surfboards for a living. I mean, what else do you watch?
I love everything and anything that has to do with Red Bull or extreme sports. I love it.
So I like it. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of Nitro Circus.
Yeah, Nitro Circus is dope.
Yeah.
Travis Pastrami.
Dude, he's got it going on.
Yeah. Pastrana's where it's at, man.
I know.
He was a beast whenever I was growing up, and he was like on 125s and 80s and going to Loretta Lynn's and all that stuff.
Well, I remember him on the Disney Channel showing how to ride a wheelie on a motorcycle when he was like fucking 14.
Really?
Yes.
He made it on Disney?
Yes.
He's made it.
That's what I'm saying. I was on the Disney Channel at like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years old, whatever I was, watching the Disney Channel. And there's Travis Pastrana. He's like, hey guys, what's going on? Travis Pastrana.
He's such a
Here's
dork.
how you ride a wheelie.
He's such a dork, dude.
He's such a nerd. But so I have a couple friends like this, and I'm sure everybody does.
Yeah.
But they're not goofy. I don't want to call it goofy, but they're kind of just like whatever, but they're good at everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I've never thrown horseshoes before. Ringer, ringer, ringer.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I got friends like that too.
Yeah. It's just, and what does it do? He's one of those guys. He's just good at things he picks up. He backflipped a monster truck one time. He landed on the roof though.
Who did? Your friend?
Pastrana.
Oh, Pastrana, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like your buddy.
No.
Okay.
No, my buddy, he doesn't do anything cool like that, but you know, what can you do?
If I had a friend with a monster truck, then we'd be best friends. I don't know about just friends. You know what I mean?
That's a pretty good point. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So, yeah, I've never been into extreme sports just because, well, not that I've never been into them. Like I said, I like them. I enjoy them, all that stuff, but I've never done any of it. I rode a skateboard once and I fell and like broke my tailbone.
You broke your tailbone?
I think it broke. I don't know. We didn't have x-rays back in my day. This was pre-internet. So
you didn't have x-rays.
X-rays didn't exist pre-internet. So it was just, suck it up. I couldn't shit for 3 weeks, but yeah, it was, that was my skateboarding experience. So I rode a skateboard once. Mm-hmm. I rode a surfboard once. Oh, here's what I want to talk about. I'm glad
here we go.
I'm glad I just remembered.
What?
Did you ever watch Rocket Power?
Like the cartoon Rocket
Yes.
Power? Yeah, I watched Rocket Power.
Holy shit, that was like
Rocket
my favorite.
Boy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like anybody that's into extreme sports that's aged 25 to 35 probably watched Rocket Power.
Everybody watched Rocket Power whenever we were kids. I mean, well, even though like, you know what? I think it's on Netflix now and you can watch it.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I will watch that shit tomorrow. Who are the characters? If you can name them, I can name them. So
there's Rocket Boy.
Okay.
And then I don't remember.
Otto.
Okay. I remember Otto.
Twister.
Okay.
And I don't remember the chick.
I don't remember either. That was a dope
good
show.
Dude, it was a good fucking show. And me and my brother talked about this while back or whatever, about how good we talk like, how good is that fucking show? There's nothing like that anymore. Well, I don't know. I don't watch kid shows anymore, so there may be, but it's good. I remember specifically an episode. God damn, I'm such a nerd. It was like Twisty McNasty 900 or something like that. He did a trick on a half pipe on a skateboard.
On Rocket Power?
Yes.
Okay.
And he was doing this trick and he couldn't do it. And then he went up and the guy was mowing the grass next door and he launched a tennis ball that was in, like, he was cutting grass and it launched and it hit his board just as he was trying to do his Twisty McNasty 900 and he landed the motherfucker. And he was like, the greatest trick ever done and all this stuff. They're all excited. And how'd you do it? And Twister, if you remember, was a little fat kid.
Yeah.
That couldn't really do a lot of tricks, but he was good at math and stuff. So he was doing the calculations on his computer and he was like, the trick is physically impossible. You can't do it. The math doesn't add up. And it was the tennis ball the whole time and they didn't know. That's the only episode I remember, but I know.
I thought you were a bigger fan than that with all the statistics you just gave me. With all the names and all that stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. My memory's super weird.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Well, just trying to have a good time here.
I know. Texas.
So my wife, we were talking about Texas. So my wife and I were talking about going to the Shiner Brewery.
Yes.
Which, have you done that one yet?
I want to have those people on here.
Let's make it happen.
I'm gonna do it. I'm sending emails out. I want to talk to a salesman, the owner. I don't care if it's the truckload guy. I want to talk to somebody from Shiner and have them tell me the history of that place. Because here's the thing. Everybody knows Shiner. Everybody knows a good beer. Everybody knows it's Texas beer. Everybody knows it's originally German Texas beer, right? Which is when we get into Fredericksburg and New Braunfels. All those towns up there are big German towns. And the... We good? We good? Where's someone?
There we go. We got too many things going on.
Okay.
There we go.
So everybody knows Shiner's a Texas beer, all that stuff, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know how they started. I don't know.
Just the history of Shiner.
Yeah. And I'm 1,000% interested in that. You know what I mean? And so I want to have those people on, sit there and talk to them and be like, the same thing I'm talking with you. Excuse me. How'd you get started? What were the interests?
Well,
what's the goal?
There's a couple like local breweries, like one down in you said, what were you saying? Like the beer garden in
Stud Gardens in Texas City.
And then there's like another one in Dickinson.
Oh,
like
King's
Texas
Beer Garden.
King's
Beer Garden is a German restaurant. It was, voted like the best German restaurant in the United States of America.
In Dickinson?
In Pearland.
Oh, okay.
It's in Pearland. I think 2 years. It's been open since like 2012, 2013, and it's been voted. I think it's 2 years. It may only be one, but the best German restaurant in the United States of America, not just Texas. And I'm telling you, son, German food. I've only had sauerkraut once that I liked.
But you're all about that Wiener Schnitzel.
I'm all about that Wiener Schnitzel.
Is that what brings the milkshakes to the yard for you?
No. It's the brats. They have some stupid, they call it a Jaeger sauce, which is some kind of wonderment with mushrooms.
Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, exactly. And they have beers, yay tall. You cheers them, you drink them. It's a fucking good time.
Speaking of that, like, have you ever been to Yard House?
Yes.
You know what they call it, Yard House?
Do I know what they call what?
Do you know why they call it Yard House?
Yard beers.
Yeah. I didn't know that till the other day. My wife and I were there a couple weeks ago because she just got done breastfeeding. And like it was like our first night. Like we've had a few nights out, but this is like the first time like we were actually just able to go out and like have some drinks, have a good time.
Yeah.
And so I was at Yard House. I was like, why do they call it Yard House? But I guess I figured out whenever we were there, it's because they have those yard-sized beers.
Yeah.
Or yardstick or whatever.
Yeah.
Somewhat of a gimmick, but to make it happen.
Yard House is not my favorite place.
What is your favorite place?
Oh, wow. Ooh, that goes deep.
That's hard.
Yeah. I got genres. I can't pick one favorite spot.
Okay. Within a 30-mile radius of here, where would you go? Your wife says, babe, let's go to dinner. But like, but I want it to be something you want to eat.
Special nice. Yeah. Special nice dinner. So my beautiful wife is from Amarillo, Texas, up near Amarillo.
Never
Texas.
heard of it.
Yeah, exactly.
George Strait.
Clarendon, Texas is where she's actually from. It's an hour east of Amarillo. And she's a cattle girl. She grew up a farmer. And she likes her steak. So when we go to a nice meal and we want to go have somewhere good, we go to Killen's Steakhouse in Pearland, Texas.
Killen's. I've heard of that, but I've never been there.
So
Don't they do like barbecue and stuff too?
Yes. So Mr. Killen himself, Ronnie Killen is the guy's name. He's from Pearland. I believe he went to Cordon Bleu in France to like learn how to cook and shit.
I love me a chicken cordon bleu.
Yeah.
Anyway, Arby's.
Indeed. I don't know. Okay. So he went there, I believe, to learn his, craft, right?
Right.
Comes back. I think he was a runner-up on the White House chef to be the White House chef to President Obama first term. And the guy was like, hey, stay on and you can help out or whatever. He didn't do it. And I don't know, open up restaurants here and there. I think he was pretty successful. And he came back and opened up a steakhouse in Pearland. Now, the steakhouse in Pearland he opened up was in a, let's call it, glorified shack. Wasn't anything fancy at all. Held like 30 people. I mean, literally like 15 tables, and some were 4, whatever. So let's call it a 50-seat restaurant. But just served the best steaks ever. And carrot cake, shut your mouth. If you ever go to Killen's, and you're thinking about,
You should bring Killens on next time.
he's on the list. He's on the list, but he's big time now. He's
big timer now. Huh?
I'll get to him. He's, whatever. I have a little work to do before I can get Mr. Killen on. So he has this dude. Carrot cake's amazing. The steaks were amazing. I'm sitting there and my wife tells me about it. Somebody said, this steakhouse, this and that, try it. And we went and they're like $50, $60 steaks. They get $180 Wagyu steak from Japanese and shit.
When you say steak, are we talking fillets, ribeyes?
So when I first went there, I got a 34 ounce porterhouse.
Holy crap. That's a huge steak.
Dude.
You finish it?
I would like to say I didn't eat every last bite, but I ate every last bite. It was that fucking good. And my wife had a 24 ounce ribeye, bone-in ribeye.
Might as well just order the cow.
Dude, my wife's not a big gal.
Right.
She damn near ate that whole thing. Dude, I'm telling you, it was good.
That good.
It was good. So we're sitting there eating and we're drinking our whiskey and we're this and that or whatever. And lo and behold, Andre Johnson walks in.
Never heard of him.
Shut your mouth. Walks in, sits right next to us. And I'm like, babe. It's fucking Andre Johnson. She's like, what? Who cares? Shut up.
I'm eating my steak.
and I'm like freaking out. I'm like trying.
It's because she's a Cowboys fan.
Well, that and she's a lot more level-headed than I am. But I'm freaking out, right? But it's also like probably the first famous person I've ever seen in real life at that time. It probably really is. And so I was like, should I say something? So anyway, I didn't end up saying nothing to him or whatever, but this and that. But I got to, after that, I read about it. And all the Texans players live in Pearland. Most
really
live in Pearland. Yes.
I thought they lived in like the Heights or.
They do. They live all over. But like JJ Watt lives in Pearland.
Really?
And Andre Johnson.
Because JJ Watt is one of us.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, good on you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So
for everybody watching live, we love JJ Watt.
Yes.
I think the whole nation loves JJ Watt.
Yes. Well, they don't love him as much as Texans do. And especially Houstonians.
Really?
No. Well, yeah, I'm going to say no.
I got to take my headphones off. Keep going.
Go ahead. What he did for Houston was it was special, man. It was special. And you don't see that from every athlete, every great people. Every town has their special people, but that guy's something else. But so Killens, I got to reading up afterwards on what he does, what he's done and all that stuff. And I was like, man, this guy's pretty badass. So we went back to that little restaurant several times. And then he opened up I don't remember. He opened up another steakhouse. He opened up another steakhouse, which is big and fancy and all that stuff. So it's more of a actual high-end steakhouse at that time. He turned the old steakhouse into a burger joint. And then I think within the same year, he opened up a barbecue joint down in Pearland as well. So Killen's Barbecue. And he's self-proclaimed going after Franklin's in Austin.
What's Franklin's?
Oh, sir.
You didn't know who Kelly Slater was.
I know.
I didn't mean to bring that up again.
I know. But it's Kelly Slater from Texas. Okay. So Franklin's Barbecue is in Austin, Texas. It's been voted and or won and or whatever you want to claim the best barbecue place in America.
Well, how does it compare to the Salt Lake in Austin?
Supposedly better. I've eaten at Salt Lake. I haven't eaten at Franklin's. The reason why I haven't eaten at Franklin's is it is like a 2 or 3 hour wait every day of the week.
About Stubbs.
365. I've eaten at Stubbs too. I like Salt Lake better.
I mean, I'm saying Stubbs.
So I tell you what Stubbs does better than anybody is their
concerts. Yeah.
Their sauce. I have about 7 bottles of green chili Stubbs sauce sitting in my cabinet right now because I quit selling it at our local Kroger's that I put on my fajitas. I put in scrambled eggs. Their green chili sauce is amazing. And they have a Texas sriracha sauce. Dude,
I like spicy.
Stubbs their sauce that they sell in the stores are freaking badass. And their barbecue's good. I mean, in my opinion, sorry, Stubbs, it's nothing special. It's a barbecue joint in Texas. They make a lot of, I mean, it's good. But special, I wouldn't say. There's only a few special joints I've been to around. I haven't been to Franklin's. Like I said, it's people go out there at 6 a.m. and they do it as a business. They sit in a lawn chair and you go up and you pay the guy 50, 60, $100, whatever it is that day.
To sit in, like they go up there, they steal line placement?
Well, no, they sit in that chair and they have a sign that say spot for sale.
Oh, that's
and you
jacked
walk up and you, hey, here, man, here's $40.
Or a borderline genius.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying.
But you only make like $50 for the day.
How many other barbecue joints have started their own economy?
That's true, man.
By selling the barbecue. But Franklin's supposed to be that good. I don't know.
I'm going to start doing that on Black Friday.
Yeah, people already do that. You're not.
Oh, I'm not hip. I don't go out on Black Friday.
Yeah, no.
I would rather shoot myself.
Who goes
in the
out
face.
on Amazon? My friends.
Dude, I live on Bay Area or right off Bay Area,
Cyber
right
Monday.
there by the mall.
Yeah.
No way. I go the other way.
Yeah.
Ain't no way I'm going down Bay Area.
Yeah.
I'd rather shoot myself in the face.
So
twice.
So Killen started a barbecue joint, right? It's pretty good. The best thing on their menu, if you go, is once again the carrot cake and
I'm good for now.
The beef rib. Their beef rib is phenomenal. Brisket's good. Sausage is good. Turkey's very good. But the beef rib is exceptional. Turkey's not dry. Turkey's very
pretty juicy.
Yes. But so since then, he started the barbecue joint, and they also have a pretty good wait around their
at Killen's.
At Killen's, yes. They got a 30, 45-minute wait to get into the place. And they also serve beer out front in a keg.
Beer's good. I like beer.
Free beer while you wait keg.
Really?
Yes.
What a bet. That's like the best wait line ever. I would just go stand in line and be like,
I'm just like, I'm just home. Y'all can have a spot.
I'm just bring snacks and just munch on like Bucky's beef jerky.
Yeah.
Just hang out.
Yeah.
Give me a few tacos, put them in my pocket.
I'm waiting on some people. You want to go ahead? Okay.
We should do a podcast in line.
So that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
Just set up a podcast booth right there and just podcast people as they move along.
Walk by and grab some beer. Hey, give me some beer. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
that would be a sloppy podcast by the end of it.
Well, about as sloppy as this was going to be here in a minute.
Hey, come on.
So since then, he is in NRG Stadium as Killen's Barbecue. They have a place in there. It's not...
well, it's like walking into a Wolfgang Puck restaurant in a airport.
Yeah, exactly.
Wolfgang ain't back there.
Yeah,
he ain't fooling me. You don't know me.
Exactly, but it's good, man. It's all good. That he's got it going on, and he's got a Killen's STQ restaurant, Killen's Steak in, I don't know, somewhere else in Houston or whatever.
I'm glad you put those two and two together. I was like, STQ. I was trying to break it down like the acronym. Was like,
yeah. So he's got it going on, man. That guy's, it's really good. His like I said, his steaks are wonderful. His barbecue is good. It's top 5 probably that I've had. Top 3. He's borderline. He's up there.
Have you been to Main Street Bistro?
Yes. Dude, I took my mom and my wife there for Valentine's Day.
Dude, Main Street Bistro.
How's it going on?
Hands down, like my favorite place within a 30-mile radius.
Yeah.
I mean, if you said, hey, where do you want a gift card to? Give me a gift card to Main Street Bistro.
Yeah.
Place, dude, lunch is money. Yes. They have like this burger with like boars and cheese on it. I don't even know if you know. Do you know what boars and cheese is?
Yeah, you can explain it to me.
It's boars and cheese. I mean, dude, it is money. And they have like the Santa Monica burger, or it's like a chicken sandwich. But then like, yeah, you go there for like Valentine's Day. I take my wife there on Valentine's Day as well. We didn't do Valentine's Day this year because we have 3 kids and like ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
She did give me a really cool card. It was like a bacon card. She was like, anyway, I can't explain it right now, but I didn't get her a card and she's mad at me. But anyway, yeah, Main Street Bistro, hands down, dinner or lunch.
Yeah, they're good
all day long.
They're good. I've been going to them for years. I love it.
But if I'm going for steak, Vic and Anthony's. Have you been there?
Downtown, yeah.
Dude, I love Vic and Anthony's.
We went there before Garth Brooks. a few years back.
The filet, money.
Yeah.
I love it. We go there every year for our anniversary, and that's just what we do.
It's awesome, man.
It's good.
So me and Cody got into this last time or whatever, talking about all the freaking good food around here. That's the one thing. It's not unique to Texas, right? But there's just such a infusion of everything great. You know, anything you could want. We obviously have the beef, right? We're Texas.
Nolan Ryan, baby.
Yeah, come on. We got into crawfish. We got into Mexican food right on the border. Tex-Mex is a genre of its own.
Yeah,
Mexican food may be great, but is Tex-Mex better?
No, dude, you go to Mexico, that ain't Tex-Mex.
No,
that's just that's Mexico. But then whenever I was in Mexico, like I was eating. Like I remember I got called into this one this one alley, and there was this lady. She's like, "Hey, come down here to this this restaurant." And I was like, "What the heck?" And it was like a neighborhood, and so she like brought us down this alley, and she's like, "Hey, come try some of this food." And so like she brings us into like it's like just think about like you walk out your back door onto your patio, and she sits me down at this patio, and she brings out like these like old chips and salsa. And then like I saw the guy inside in his kitchen cooking food, and he brings me food out, like authentic Mexican food from Mexico. And I'm sitting on his back porch, and this is quote unquote their restaurant. I thought I was going to get my head sawed off as this lady's like bringing me down this alley in Mexico. I'm 21 years old, like probably, super, just gullible, just going down this. Let me see what's going on in this alley in Mexico. But anyway,
so the wife and I went to Puerto Vallarta for our honeymoon.
Cruise or flight?
Flight. Okay. So
did you go down the Malecon?
Did you just yell at me?
The Malecon is like the seawall where all the bars are. Like you see like the big cruise ships, and there's like the Malecon. Anyway,
no, we didn't do any of that. So we flew down there, right? And I say it was our honeymoon. It was our 1 year anniversary. But
still honeymoon phase, kind of.
/ honeymoon, right? So we got married. We got a funny story about getting married, but basically I was on turnaround for work. And
you didn't get married at the turnaround, did you?
I barely got off to go get married.
Oh, God.
Boy, that went down. We'll talk about entrepreneurship and starting your own business. I'm trying to get somewhere where I can go get married if I need to.
Jeez Louise.
So, yeah, we went down there for 1 year anniversary, right? And we stayed in an all-inclusive resort, couples only, this and that. But it was away from, probably that part you were saying where the bars and the seawall and all that stuff is at.
It was just a resort or something?
Yes.
Okay. Like a Sandals or something?
Yeah. So we're there. We're hanging out day one. It's funny. It's 2000 or not 2007. It's 2000.
How old are you?
I'm 28 years old.
You're younger than me by like 10 years.
No, you're old as fuck, but we won't get into it. We won't get into it. Sorry, not sorry. So, we're in Mexico. We're in our little resort. Donald Trump is voted in president the day we fly to Mexico.
So this was like
November 7th. November 7th.
3 years ago.
2016?
Yeah.
It's called 16.
It feels like it just happened. I was in Chattanooga whenever he got voted in.
Yeah. So we flew down there. We voted early because we knew we were going to be on flights. We flew the day that the election took place. Yeah. So we got down there, and half the people there were like, "We're never going back."
In Puerto Vallarta?
Yeah.
Why?
All the Americans are like, "We're never," because Trump was voted president.
Oh, they're talking about back to America.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, "We're never going back. We're just staying here, fucking freaking out and all that shit." And anyway, so we're there, and there was some Canadians we met, and
tons of Canadians in Puerto Vallarta.
Yes.
There's like 50 billion of them. You know why?
Why?
Because from what I heard, whenever I was living there, like Canada will pay you to leave the country because it's cheaper for them to pay you to leave the country than to sit there during the winter months because it's more expensive.
Healthcare and shit.
Or heating, or I don't know. But they just said Canada will pay us to leave and we all come to Mexico. You got me.
Well, good. Hey,
that's what I learned.
Good on them. Yeah. I'm not mad at them. While we were sitting there in the pool, hanging out and talking with the Canadians, they talked about some island down the way that they went to called Los Animas. Mm-hmm. The animals, right? And they said, go out.
It's the Galapagos.
So they said, go out of the hotel, hop on the bus, ride it down to the very last stop, get out, walk down to the beach, hop a boat, go to the island.
You didn't go to Punta de Mita?
Did you just cuss me?
Well, like, how far was the bus ride? And did you go left or right? No, I guess if you went to the coast, you went to the coast, right?
So I'm going to pull up a map.
So you probably went from Puerto Vallarta either over to Punta de Mita or Sayulita, where I was.
I'm going to say no. Was it north or south?
It was west.
We went south, straight down the coast.
But from Puerto Vallarta, well, I guess depends on where the port is, I guess. Let me see this map. Let me see this.
All right. Hold on. We're pulling it up here. We're
going to get up.
All right. So here we are.
Okay.
Our resort was like, so here's the main little strip you're talking about, seawall, all that good jazz, right? Our hotel was like right around here.
Okay, so zoom in. Malecon. See, there was the Malecon that I was talking about.
Okay. So we're right around here, right? Mm-hmm. We go down. We take the bus ride, and it goes, I believe, all the way down to here.
Oh, see, I was up here in Punta de Mita. Yeah. So you were way.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going south.
Okay. We're in two different places now.
Yep. So this Yalapa, that's a place we went to. But anyways, it turns out it's not an island we went to. It was just a beach. Los Animas, the beach. And there's Los Animas
Playa.
Yeah, exactly. Yalapa and one more that was further down. So we come down here, we catch the bus.
How long was that ride to Yalapa?
We left from here.
Golly.
And went to Yalapa.
Was that an hour? 2 hours?
It was pretty close. And that was on Puerto Vallarta Adventures, whatever the little cruises they have.
One of the excursions or whatever.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It really was. But the best, I would still say the best part of the trip is when we left the hotel, we went down, took the bus, 8 pesos a piece.
8 pesos?
8 pesos a piece.
Dang, man, that's highway robbery.
We went down here. They dropped us off at this little fishing village. And we get out, and they got a little stand where they're selling chiclets and shit like that, right? And I start walking down the steps, and they're big stone steps, whatever, and this and that, and it's a fucking straight Mexican village.
Like Mayan?
No, like a Mexican village.
Okay.
No electricity, chickens running through the house, stray dogs, all this shit, whatever. And I'm walking down. I turn back and look up. My wife's like 30 yards behind me. What the fuck's going on? She's like, where are we going? I'm like, come on, get up here. And at the bottom of this, we had to like walk through people's houses. To like the path like led through somebody's house, and we walked
like in. Through their house.
Yes, through their house, and they're in the kitchen. They're, whacking the heads off a chicken or something. Like they're preparing dinner. They wasn't really, but they were preparing dinner and in the kitchen, like using the water and stuff like that. And we're like, hey, keep walking.
Sorry.
And everybody's pointing down. Everybody's pointing. So we get down to the bottom, and there's like a group of like 15 guys, young Mexican guys, 12 to 30 years old, like 15, 20 of them.
Right.
And all standing around a circle. And we're walking up, and I'm like, all right. And so the wife's still like skidding, behind me. I'm like, come on, get up here. So we get down there, and a guy walks up, and he's like, y'all need a ride? I said, yeah, come on. So I was like, all right. So we went out there. He's like,
so he apparently knew where you were going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he takes us through. We keep walking down through another little house, through another little thing or whatever. And they have like an arcade game set up, like 2 arcade games down at the bottom, Pac-Man and fucking Asteroids or something. And takes us out on the beach, and it's like a big cove, and they have fish frying up in the grill, fresh fish that caught or whatever. And there's like 20 boats lined up, not John boats, but they're a fiberglass version. Mm-hmm. And he says, hop on. We hopped on or whatever. And he says, where y'all want to go? And they would take us to the Yalapa, Los Animas, and I don't remember what the other one was.
These are the quote unquote islands.
Yes, that the people say, but they're beaches. They're just beaches up the front that you can't get to by road access. It's only by boat.
Okay.
So that's the whole deal behind it, right? Because if you've never been to Puerto Vallarta, it's where Predator was shot and filmed.
I remember that.
And so the beach is right there. And then call it half a mile beyond the beach is huge mountains and rocks. And
that was beautiful out there.
It's very beautiful, but you can't get to it.
It's remote.
Exactly. Yeah. It's remote. So that's why all the places to go to were via boat. And so he said, he goes, Los Animas. He goes, restaurants, not a lot of tourists, this and that. He said, Yalapa is good. History, they have this and that. Da, da, da. And he said in the other place, I don't remember what it was. What he says, marijuana, cocaine. He goes, that's where everybody goes party. I was like, we're good. I was like, just take us to Los Animas, man. So I went to Los Animas, and over there, all this is coming around to the Mexican food, right?
Right.
And we sat down at a restaurant. I had some fish tacos.
Oh, dude, I love fish tacos.
Oh, they were so good. They were so good. The wife had a big coconut punch alcohol drink that I'm pretty sure was just straight vodka with a shot of.
It's like the drink out of Wayne's World whenever they're signing the deal. It's like a big bowl.
Exactly. And then we went down the beach and we're walking out, and this dude's walking up with an oyster cart and soaking wet.
Oh, he just
left the water freaking picking oysters. And I went up and I paid him paid him like $3. Yeah. And I got this oyster that was the size of a Texas belt buckle, right?
I'm assuming it was raw because he's
raw
wet.
oyster. Yeah. It was so good. It was the best oyster I ever had.
You didn't have any what do they put on oysters? Like horseradish?
Horseradish. So I think I put Tabasco and lemon on it.
I was about to say, what else did you put on it? Because you just can't you could take a raw oyster, but you don't do that. You got to put something on it.
In hindsight, I should have just taken that one.
Yeah.
It was so good. Oh, it was so stinking good. I don't know what it was.
Have you been to Gilhooly's?
Yeah.
I haven't been to Gilhooly's. I've been hearing about Gilhooly's and because of their oysters and whatnot, but I haven't been there yet.
So you need to go to Gilhooly's. That's a for sure. Gilhooly's is a biker oyster bar.
Yeah,
is the best way I can describe it.
I'm not opposed to a biker,
and
I like bikers.
Bay Cliff, Texas.
I know what Bay Cliff. I mean, it's kind of armpit, but which one.
Yeah, no, they're not bad. But Gilhooly's is very good, and they have their entire parking lot is oyster shells.
Well, I guess they paid for it themselves.
Yeah, indeed.
It's pretty good. Pretty good for life.
It's a kind of a weird thing. It's like it's better than shale. It's better than caliche rock.
It's organic.
Entire parking lot is full of oyster shells.
Well, yeah.
But it also kind of stinks a little bit.
Well, it's because it's raw oysters. Yeah. People have been eating. They're just like, throw it in the parking lot. Yeah.
It also kind of stinks a little bit. But that's all right. You got a little pothole, the day's oyster shucks that just go through.
You live, you learn,
Yeah. So what else, man? Where else we got to go in Texas?
Let's see. Oh, it's funny. I'm doing like this live broadcast on here, and Marcus Yancey, Duke Marcus Yancey on Facebook, says, I've been on here for 30 minutes. Y'all just made me hungry for some Gentleman Jack and thirsty for some barbecue. That's funny. So Marcus actually used to play in the band with me that I was talking about earlier. Marcus, you are the man. He just went on a cruise, and I was living through him vicariously last week because I think he went down to he did like the Yucatan, or I guess everything on the Yucatan. He did like Progreso and Cozumel and all this other kind of stuff. And so I'm sitting at home and I'm working, blah, blah, blah. And I'm always seeing like all his posts. He's posting like everything, just drinking or, just hanging out, from his balcony and stuff like that on the cruise ship. I was like, oh, I'm living through you this week, dude. I'm here in Texas just chilling.
Isn't that awesome though? That's one thing I think goes underrated at sometimes is the living vicariously through someone else going out and experiencing those things. I had a couple friends of mine that I went to college with, this guy Graham, and his wife is from Australia. She's from down under.
Australia.
And they live in Galveston currently, but they went and spent like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even a month in Japan.
Oh, in Japan.
And
I've landed
she
there.
was on Snapchat, dude, filming stuff, doing stuff. And every time she posted something, I was looking at it, and I messaged her halfway through, and I was like, I just want to let you know, I appreciate you putting all this stuff on Japan, because it just makes me want to go so freaking bad. They had a blast, man. And it looked like it.
Japan is pretty cool. Like I was saying, like I've only been there. Like I've landed there, and whenever I landed there, I was like, you know what? If I'm landing in Japan, I'm having sushi.
Yeah.
So like we went to a couple places. We had some sushi. So I can say that I've had sushi in Japan, but I never went out to because we landed in Narita, and I guess it's like Tokyo-ish. I guess it's like, I don't know if that's like the name of the airport, kind of like Bush is in quote unquote Houston, but anyways, like Narita. And anyway, I had some like authentic Japanese food. It was really good, man. Yeah. Super, super good.
Yeah, Japan is definitely one of the places.
I don't know if I love I'm good with chopsticks. Does that count?
I'm good with all that shit. I'm good at There is no form of eating in the world that I'm not proficient in. You can guarantee that. And I know how to say bacon in 37 languages.
Oh, dude, my daughter the other day, she was up, or I think she went in there. I think my wife went in there, and she was like, I think my daughter was like whining. She was like, and she went in. My wife was like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "Oh," and the first word that came out of her mouth was bacon. It was like 7 or 8 in the morning. She just woke up and she said bacon. I was like, man, that's my girl. Man.
Girl.
I love my baby
girl.
It. That's all, man. Bacon all day, all day bacon.
Have you been to Sam Rayburn?
Lake?
Yeah.
No. I've been to Bob Sandlin.
Sam Rayburn Lake's a beautiful spot, man. So we went there 3 years ago.
Yeah. My dad went to that high school.
My folks, my family, and me, and my brother and his wife. I don't remember if Luke was born yet or not. Hey, they're probably going to get mad at me, but I can't remember. I got shit memory. Anyways, we went to Sam Rayburn. We all pulled their campers and stayed down there for $20 a night at Powell Park, believe it or not. And Pops had a 23-foot Gulf Coast flat bottom bay boat. But we went out there and we went fishing. It's bass fishing heaven. It's Sam Rayburn, right? But I
caught you a delicious bass.
Yes, indeed. But you want to talk about a big, beautiful spot? Sam Rayburn's not a bad spot.
Where is that from here? Because I know where Lake Houston is, but where is Sam Rayburn?
So Sam Rayburn is right on the Louisiana border.
Oh God! North. So it's like super.
Well, I
east.
say that. Hold on. Yeah, it's east.
So I thought it was like
zoom in
because like my dad went to Sam Rayburn High School, so I thought it was like around here. I guess because it's like in Houston.
No, it's north of Beaumont.
Who is Sam Rayburn?
I'm going to look that shit up too.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm on the right Google Maps. It's not giving me complete access. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like it's east of Lufkin, north of Jasper. It's Lake Livingston, where that's at.
Yeah, I know where Lake Livingston is.
Yeah, so
I thought Lake Livingston. Hang on, I'm getting
north of Lake Houston, right?
Livingston?
Yeah,
dude, I've been there one time.
North of the Woodlands. I mean, it's Humble. You take a right, you're Lake Livingston. You keep going.
That's like where the Trinity is.
Yeah.
Trinity River.
You keep going east, northeast, like 45 minutes from Livingston to Sam Rayburn. It's a big, huge lake, man. And it's, like I said, it's beautiful. Beautiful up there. But yeah, I feel like that'd be a good spot to go spend a weekend.
Sam Rayburn? Yeah. I've heard, I have like some customers and stuff that'll go out there and they'll spend the time out there at Sam Rayburn. I've just never been there.
Yeah.
Not at all.
10-4. So we talked about Corpus.
Vanden Boom. Sorry. I'm looking at people that are chiming in here.
What are they saying? Let's hear what the people say.
Mike Vanden Boom, I met him in Georgia. And I met him at a place called Southern Surf Fest, which is out on Lake Lanier in Georgia. And I'll just never forget this guy. Number one, his last name is Vanden Boom. I thought he was joking at first, but his last name is Vandenboom. And anyway, he just ended up being like just a super cool dude that I've just kept in contact with, like probably the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 years since the last time we've been out there. Been just a real, cool ambassador for us and, our brand. Not to try to go back to Doomswell, but
wherever you want to take it, man.
But anyway, he's just a super cool dude. He lives out in Ohio of all places. Like I'm saying, so like we've reached out to like places like Ohio and stuff like that. Just everywhere, every surfer that wants to surf that is landlocked. I mean, that's the cool thing about wake surfing.
Yeah,
is we can reach all those people. So, but it's funny. He lives in Ohio now, but we don't have a dealer out there. So if any dealers are listening to me right now, bring us on, man.
Yeah.
Like we'll treat you good, man.
Yeah. That's awesome. Did you ever end up getting on with Buc-ee's?
Oh, so the Buc-ee's thing. So Buc-ee's, oh man, this is kind of a funny story. So like whenever we were building, stand-up paddle boards at one time. So I called Buc-ee's and I said, and for those of you that don't know who Buc-ee's are, this is a Texas podcast.
Lone Star podcast.
Yeah, Lone Star. Anyway, everybody knows who Buc-ee's is in Texas. So I called Buc-ee's and I said, hey, I think this would be a really good idea to start making paddle boards since you guys are so close to the coast, down in, Texas City, in, Galveston and Surfside. You have a store down there. So this is whenever I'm working at, the oil refinery. I'm at BP. I'm sitting on the toilet taking a dump, and I'd already left a voicemail for them like a couple days later, and I get a phone call. I'm just like, all right, screw it. I'll just answer it, and it's Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's answers the phone and they say, hey guys, I think this is a really great idea. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take 10 paddle boards. So I'm like, okay, sweet. So we talk on the phone with them for a little bit, blah, blah, blah. So we start making surfboards, or paddle boards for Buc-ee's. And, it took us a long time to build them and all that kind of stuff because we only had so many people. But yeah, anyway, so the new Buc-ee's opened up down in, was it the Texas City? Texas City.
They call it Texas City.
They call it Texas City, whatever that area is down there.
Sure,
we don't go there unless we work.
I go there every day. Yeah, I work at your old refinery.
Where do you work? Marathon?
I work at Marathon.
I didn't know you worked at Marathon.
I've been there for 4 years in June.
Like at my old plant.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to aspire to be you, man. I want to leave.
Hey, man.
I mean, unless my bosses
maybe this
are
podcast
listening.
takes off one day. Maybe we can.
Unless my bosses are listening, I love this place.
So, anyway, we started making boards for Buc-ee's, and then it was really cool at first, and they were selling stuff, but then they came in with like a reorder. They were like, "Hey, we need stuff now." I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna be 2 months," and they were like, "Oh." And then just kind of died after that. So that's my anticlimactic story about our sales with Buc-ee's.
So have you tried going back?
No. They were selling stuff. I could probably go back and we could probably do a lot better with them now that we've got our manufacturing and stuff under control. But I don't know. I just don't know if their market is big enough for Buc-ee's branded boards. But their beef jerky is off the hook.
Dude, everything is off the hook. I love Buc-ee's.
Everything. I mean, their brisket tacos, their chicken tacos. They have hippos. Have you had their hippo?
Yeah, the hippo taco. Yeah.
Hippo's money, dude.
Dude, and they have survival equipment. You can get a hatchet and a fucking matchstick.
You can get everything that you need at Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is Walmart with gas, or I guess Walmart has.
It's like a Texas style Walmart.
Yeah, it's everything you need to be a Texan.
I love Buc-ee's.
Do they have first aid kits?
I'm sure they do. And if they don't, they probably have one in the back in the office.
So if we ever do get nuked by Kim Jong-un, we just go to Buc-ee's. We could survive there for forever.
That's true. They
probably have like this underground Buc-ee's lair.
Little known fact about Buc-ee's. It's actually impermeable to nuclear attack.
For a second, I was like, where did you get this information? But then... This guy.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, it's the whiskey kicking in. Sorry, folks. All right, man. So what's next? What do we need to know about Doomswell in the next 6 months? Next 6 months.
Okay, so Doomswell for the next 6 months. Right now, we are kind of in our lull season or our off season. It's funny because one of our dealers, Kenan Owensby, he just he just chimed in here on my live feed here. And he says that my eyes are red. I don't know why he says that, because whenever I drink just a little bit of whiskey, I get like squinty eyed. So he can't even see my eyes. He's lying. But anyway, Ken and Owensby, he's actually part of Wake Outfitters. They're out of Chattanooga. They've been a really cool partner with us for the past couple months now. They've been doing some really good for us. Anyway, 6 months. Right now we're in our lull season. So we're really about to start take off in our really big season. So this is where, we're doing a little bit of sales, between January, February. Everywhere is cold, but in Texas, like what was today? Like 80 something degrees. Yeah. It was stupid hot.
Yeah.
Which was great because I could walk around in my backyard and no shoes on because I'm trashy like that. But anyway, the next couple months for Doomswell, we are about to really hit it hard. We're about to start doing some big events out in like North Carolina, some stuff out in Vegas. Oh, and I want to talk about Vegas here in just a minute whenever we get done talking about this. So Vegas, we're going to do an event. We'll probably do some stuff out there on the West Coast. We really got into some like big online dealers, which is really going to help our sales, this year, for the 2018 season. But for Vegas, so we're actually, we just brought on a brand ambassador. His name's Justin Spencer. He's got a Vegas show out in Vegas. And, what we're going to do is we're going to send him probably 10 to 12, maybe 15 like old surfboards, and he's going to turn a drum set into them. So he has a show in Vegas called Recycled Percussion. And I actually got a cool package this week. He sent me a bunch of like t-shirts and like hoodies and a book and a DVD and all kinds of stuff about recycled percussion. So if you've ever seen like America's Got Talent, they were on America's Got Talent like I think several times or something like that. But anyway, it turned into like this big Vegas show where they turn like random objects and like surfboards, trash cans, kind of like Stomp.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
But drummers, what I mean? So he's like, dude, and
I'm sure you're not into that. Surfboards. I'm sure you're not into that at all, being an old drummer.
Well, it was funny because like we got on the phone and he was like, hey, I do this. And he's also got a show on ABC called Chaos and Kindness, or Kindness and Chaos, one of the two. And so he was like, dude, blah, blah, blah. I'm a drummer. Send me these boards and, I'll be an ambassador for you. So like I sent him like 2 of our 2018 model surfboards and then I'm going to send him like 15 of like just our old, just crap boards that he can turn into this drum set. And then I was like, all right, I'll do this on one condition. You get me into the show in Vegas. So he started laughing. He's like, dude, I freaking own the show. Like, no problem. So it'd be cool that like.
So like you're going to play in the show?
No, I'm not going to play in the show, okay. But it's going to be cool because like he's going to turn this like big, huge drum set in a Vegas show of nothing but Doomswell wake surfboards into this drum set in a Vegas show.
That's awesome.
That I get to go see.
That's awesome.
Like pinch me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How stupid and cool is that?
That is awesome.
That's cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
And my kids got t-shirts.
That was the other thing I noticed today when I was on your website sloozing around was I got to buy me a hat. I got to buy me a hat.
Dude, I got like 15 of them in my truck outside.
No, I got to buy me one.
I'll take your money. It's all green.
I know. I got to support. That's what I'm saying. That's why I want to do this thing.
Support me, man. I got 3 kids. I got mouths to feed, man.
That's why I say I want to do this thing, man. I want to support what I like. I want to enjoy the people I enjoy, and I want to turn it on to other people. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of this thing.
Dude.
So, all right, man. Well, I think that's about a good time to wrap it up. What do you think?
Yep. I'm good, man.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you doing this. It's been awesome. Like I said, your production value and your creative thinking, all your sales and marketing stuff you do is one of the big reasons why I wanted to have you on here. And you're one of the first people I thought of doing this with, because I know you're into this kind of stuff. Right?
Oh yeah. Love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, well, maybe Brock will say yes.
Yeah. And, I'm actually about to start to do my own podcast, not to like jump in on this podcast, but like we're about to start our own podcast just on wake surfing. So if you are into wake surfing and you want to hear about those types of things, we're about to start our first podcast probably this Saturday with somewhat of like a tech talk type podcast this weekend. So I don't know what we're going to call it yet, but if you follow us on doomswell.com or Doomswell Facebook, then definitely check out our podcast. I'm sure that you'll see it on our social media things of that nature. So
yeah,
wanted to throw that in there.
Tell them about your YouTube channel, your Instagram, all that stuff.
Yep. So if you're interested in any type of wake surfboard or anything like that, you can go to doomswell.com. That's DOOMSWELL.com. That's where all of our products, board bags, surf ropes, surf vests, surf boards, everything wake surfing you can find there. You can also find us on YouTube at our YouTube channel. If you just type in Doomswell Boarding Co. or just Doomswell, you can see all of our videos, etc. on there. What else? We also have an Instagram. We have an Instagram, a Twitter, and just all the social media stuff. We're out there. So yeah, if you guys are interested in wake surfing, that's where you can find us.
Awesome. Like I said, I really appreciate it. Congratulations on the success, man. I hope all the best for you moving forward. Really appreciate you coming on and doing this thing with me. I think that's it. You can find me on Powell_Jared at Twitter, and we're going to get some Lone Star Podcast, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. We're going to get all that going here soon enough. So by the time this is actually out and y'all are all hearing it, that'll probably be available. So
this is probably where you'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys. Appreciate y'all listening in. Like I said, throw some emails, throw some comments. Let us know what you love, what you hate. And we love you. Thank you.
Later.
All right, that wraps up this episode of the Lone Star Podcast. Thank you guys for listening again. Really had a great time with Brock doing this thing. Thank you for doing it, buddy. I wanted to give some credit to our intro and exit music for this episode, and our intro music was Gulf Coast Time by Roger Krager. And that goes out to all you guys out there getting in Gulf of Mexico, doing all this surfing, hanging out, fishing in the bay. Y'all know who you are. You love it. And our exit music was Long Hot Summer Day by Turnpike Troubadours. And that kind of goes without saying. All this wake surfing out on the water, enjoying the boats, living in the Texas heat. We all know how that goes. So enjoyed it. Love you guys. Thanks for listening in.
Get a half a day off with pay. Oh, towboat picking up barges on a long hot summer day.